I see you took the tree down since I visited last time.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely.
You did take the tree down, right? It's February. Next week is Lent. Next week is Ash Wednesday, Andrew.
I have a week.
You were hoping to find something under the tree, weren't you? You didn't
Maybe.
get what you wanted for Christmas, did you?
No.
There was no life-size Brandon Herrera.
I just wanted Todd.
Maybe next year, if you're a good boy, I'll get you a size 9mm Springfield Echelon.
I'll just take a case of Echelon.
That works too.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Into the Deep podcast. I'm joined as always by my good friend Josh, the fat theologian. Although
And
not
I'm
quite as
joined
fat.
today by Andrew the Kurt Locker. Kurt.
Although I will say we might have to stop calling you the fat theologian. You definitely
No, I'm still fat.
you you're looking great. That's all I'm saying, man. You're looking great.
I'm still fat. But some of our favorite content creators are not fat anymore.
Oh my gosh, the fit electrician. Have you seen that man? Oh,
The pickleball video where he's going to pick up his wife from pickleball, I'm like,
and just for clarification, we weren't looking at his wife. We were looking at him.
yeah. I was like, no. Greatest achievement of my life, though, up to this point. In 200 and hang on, 69 days, I will have a greater achievement.
Nice.
But up to this point in my life, the greatest achievement has been having my fiance have the fat electrician end up on her YouTube algorithm.
We love a good win.
Like, I didn't have to do anything to make it happen other than just talk about it incessantly.
But we don't live in a police state. People definitely can't hear what we're saying all the time. Speaking
Oh
of
man,
police state, did you hear what Discord's doing?
no.
They are I think it's in like March. They are rolling out where they are resetting all accounts to teen levels of activity. And if you want to have access to like normal Discords, you have to submit a Face ID and or a government ID.
I'm not saying I agree with that, yet at the same time, and I mean, I don't want to get into this for a whole episode. There's so much that like I'm just learning. Like I watched a Sean Ryan episode the other day with Roy Khanna, right? And he was talking about how Sean Ryan was talking about how he created a Roblox account
Oh,
just to join
Roblox is a garbage institution.
a chat room, and all he said was, "Hey, does anybody want to chat?" And he said he got like 35 notifications in less than a minute, with people being like, "Sexy time" kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and it's like,
Well, Roblox is a garbage game that needs to be burned at the stake. The
right, but even with things like, I mean, maybe I'm being like, we should burn it all down to the ground. Right, like you and I use Discord for a variety of things, and so.
well, here's my issue with Discord doing it. One, they're like, we keep your stuff secure. They just had a massive data breach less than a year ago, where like 80,000 people's information was held hostage. Secondly, they they tweeted out an FAQ because a bunch of people were like, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable about this," and like, "Well, we don't save the picture, the scan of your face. That's just on your phone, and then it goes away." Okay, can I verify that? No. And then they said, and anyways, we can tell, like, if you're an adult or not, just based on like your activity and stuff like that. Oh, so you've been spying on me the entire time, is what you're saying. Well, no, we haven't been doing. How can you predict if I'm an adult based on my activity? If you haven't been monitoring my activity already, how's that work, Discord? And they turned off the comments.
At this point, honestly, I don't care, right? Like, it's like all the different ads for stuff like delete me or like get trying to get myself on. Like, you agree to the terms and subscriptions to update your phone, and they can gather your data and
Oh
sell
yeah,
it.
I'm not saying that they don't do it already, but it's when they claim that they're not doing it and they're doing it anyways. I'm like, are you are you for real? But the top comment before they shut off the comments was just the meme of Kermit and what's the crab looking guy. Anyway, I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. They're bodying the comments, and you deserve it. And
But anyways, how you been doing, man?
I'm losing weight, which is not ideal. I don't know how that.
Wow.
I don't know how that's happening.
Wow. I feel so bad for you.
It's a different struggle. I've been trying to put on weight. I was putting on weight, and I've been weighing myself the past 2 weeks, and I'm under 170 again. I don't know how it happened,
Metabolic adjustments.
but I've been very consistent at the gym, which has been good. Back in the swing of things there, and we're in full swing for work between Lent and OCIA stuff. We have about 20 people coming into the church this year, just between St. Mary and St. John. Uh, 5 high school kids are coming in, which is the most we've ever had.
Yeah.
It's busy, but
We
it's a
have
good busy.
yeah, we have around 60 people who are enrolled this year in OCIA. My I have some qualms with how we're doing it. I'm like, hey, if they just need to get confirmed, like let's just get them
Yeah.
done. And like
If they just need confirmation, they don't even need to go through the process unless the pastor deems it
that's
necessary. Unless the pastor deems their catechesis is lacking. But even then, technically,
right,
they're
but
not in the
also
OCA process.
right, but also just like, okay, what do they need to have their catechesis fulfilled in the sense of like preparing for them for the sacrament of confirmation, which is a whole other bag of worms, which I do want to talk about on the podcast one day, is how church bureaucracy is actually hurting discipleship. Um, but,
I feel
but yeah.
I feel that to some extent. Um,
Oh, buddy. I have over 100 hours of video content to watch for marriage prep.
even we didn't have to do that.
I have to watch The Rescue Project.
I thought we talked about this, and you said you weren't going to have to do that.
No, now I have to.
Did you
I
say
have
a
to do all the
heresy?
what?
Did you say a heresy?
No, it's just there's no wiggle room because church bureaucracy, because we can't actually meet people where they are. Instead, we say, well, let's just throw you in this program instead of being like, hey, you guys are living together, and until you get that figured out, like you're stuck at this stage of the process.
Yeah, and not to go on this long tangent, but Miriam was talking about this for they have apologetics and social justice classes at the school, and she's like, yeah, my one problem with the curriculum, and they're changing the curriculum as they go, but like we focus on these issues because these are like the hot button issues for people. She's like, but we're not talking about like the everyday issues, like people living together before they're married. Like that's like we as church, like that's something that we don't agree with. We think it's a
That's a
bad.
part, but here's the thing: that's a part of Catholic social teaching as well, because it's the call to marriage and family, not the call to shack up together.
Correct, and not trying to throw shade at people, um,
No,
but it's like that's something she's trying to like, hey, we need to incorporate these in the curriculum because yeah, we can talk about gay marriage, transgender ideology, all these things, and we should because they're important to talk about. But why don't we talk about like the underlying issues that have just become so commonplace in society that it's just
that are
normal now?
also yeah, or
They're
even just like
they're still bad.
the number of students I talk to on a regular basis who are involved at our campus ministry center and love the Lord, are going to daily mass a couple times a week, and it's like they don't actually have like a prayer life where it's like they can sit in silence for like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like they go to adoration, they fill their whole prayer time with like, I got to pray my rosary, and then I got to read scripture, and then I got to do this and this and this, and I'm like, cool. Do you know how to like talk with the Lord about what's going on in your life? And they're like, no.
Well, we need to work on that first.
Right. But here's the thing: they know the theology front, backwards, side to side, because that's what they're taught in their Catholic high school, and it's like,
And
you know what?
it's a both and. We can't, like, you should have both.
Right. But also, on the other end of it, the peasant class formed a lot of saints who didn't know theology.
Correct.
And so on that end, right, like perhaps we should be more devoted towards forming people in a medieval sort of piety rather than making sure they know the theology.
Well, to know something is to understand it too, though. Like to be in a relationship is to understand that person.
Right.
So it's a balance. Like, I'm not saying they don't need to know the theology, but I'm not saying just have, like, because if you just do the I have a relationship with God, that's where you end up with the, well, that becomes very dangerously close to, God is whatever I want it to be.
Right. No, you have to obviously understand what that relationship demands of you. But that's different than learning like the Christological heresies,
Correct,
or
correct.
like
I'm saying
that's what I'm getting at. Is like
people
we've
swing
lost
one way or the other. I'm like, you need both.
well, but you also have to have like the understanding of like what's the basics
Yes.
that keep you from going into heresy.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm
You
saying.
know,
Yeah, I'm not saying we have to become
I
doctors of the church.
no, but I think that's where most Catholic schools are trying to put people, is like into this realm of like, you need to be able to explain your faith, and I'm like, you need to be able to articulate certain aspects of your faith, like why do you go to church on Sunday? But I don't think it's your responsibility to be able to explain like the hypostatic union and the very nature of the Trinity, other than like the Trinity exists and Jesus is both God and man.
It turns into like a history class versus, like, because I like the idea of an apologetics class, because it's all right, if this is your faith, why do you believe in this? The apologetics they're talking about, like I said, it's mostly the hot button issues like abortion, warrior against gay marriage, transgender ideology. I'm like, it's important that you be able to understand how to articulate the church's beliefs in these, but you don't need to have the full deep background and everything. You have to understand the basics, and then how those basics can be extrapolated to talk about those things. So
Anyways, enough of that rant.
yeah, how are you doing?
That'll be a different podcast.
That'll probably be several podcasts.
I'm doing good. Going through marriage prep. We have spring retreat this weekend, which means I don't get to spend Valentine's Day with Megan. So it's fine. Valentine's Day is a scam,
It's a
but
it's a it's
I'm also a sucker, so I'm the kind of people who fall for the scam.
Yeah, exactly.
Also 1-800-Flowers. I'm coming for you.
Oh, what they screw up this time?
I placed an order, and then the order said it failed, and then they still charged my card. And when I told them,
They said,
"Hey,
suck it.
your website said the order failed. You still charged my card $90." And they go, "Well, sir, we don't have the order number." I never got my refund, so I'm coming for 1-800-Flowers. This is actually a very common problem.
Oh
Like a
yeah,
lot of people have this issue
that's why I
with
don't.
1-800-Flowers.
That's why I don't mess
So
around
I'm
with.
gonna write to Nick and get Nick on it.
Today we're going to be talking about 1-800-Flowers and why it's a scam. Here's my binder.
Basically.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, so yeah, other than that, just chilling, you know. Got a couple meetings today. So we gotta
Yeah.
move this along. Let's talk about Lent.
Talk about Lent, my favorite and least favorite season.
Listen, Lent is such a great time. I'm pretty sure Lent is my favorite season because everybody's like, "Oh yeah, do all these things," and then when they beat you, and then when you don't do them, they're like, "It's okay, get back up." So I can feel better about myself for not being as good as I want to be. I'm kidding, by the way. You should beat yourself up if you try to do something for Lent.
Get
And
the slelled. Go for the kneecaps.
Yeah.
No, I've said this before on a previous podcast. Ordinary time used to be my least favorite. That's changed. I no longer have a least favorite season. They're all great. But Lent is the most. It's the most rewarding, but it's the most challenging. I think that's the best way to phrase it for me. And it's supposed to be challenging. Like that's what it's there for. It's a time of preparation where we are in spiritual desolation.
See, what I think is so interesting, and I don't know how much you've looked into this, is how Lent used to be.
I don't know
Oh,
specifics
buddy.
on it.
I'm gonna take you on a trip today.
Okay.
So, time to take up my fat theologian hat and put my fat church historian hat.
Isn't that still
So,
theologian?
kind of. Um, so basically, pre-Vatican II, the rules and regulations regarding fasting and abstinence. Obviously, like you were supposed to abstain from meat on all Fridays throughout the year, not just on Fridays
Yep.
during Lent, right? And that's still a part of the current code of canon law, but you can substitute out a suitable penance in the United States. You know, now, pre-Vatican II, during the season of Lent, you had to abstain from meat all 40 days. And you were supposed to fast on every Friday. Now, if you go back even further than that, in the days when the East and the West were united, basically everybody was vegan for all of Lent. And the only time you were allowed fish was on Saturdays and Sundays.
It's interesting there's Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I think the basic idea was like, okay, right, like this general principle that like, okay, Sunday, right, obviously like, right, you're gonna take an opportunity to celebrate, but also like it's there's some practicals to it too of keeping up your sustenance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like typically Fridays were just like straight up like fast, like one meal, if that.
Because I just looked up to see if there's anything else. It was showing like the one meal plus two smaller meals that do not themselves equal a full meal.
Yeah, that's a recent invention.
That was a 40 that was for the full 40 days, and then on Fridays no meat on top of it. Like you're supposed to
Yeah,
do no meat regardless, but like on that day, I think it's supposed to be just the one meal.
yeah. So it was intense.
Yeah.
And so I'm like sitting here going, man, like we're kind of wimps now in the church. Like, and I mean, to some extent, right? Like our struggles in the church are different today. I was actually talking to somebody about this today. It's like, um, or not today, but the other day. This idea of like the temptation itself is the means by which you're going to grow in holiness. So like so many people are just like, I'm just gonna flee from temptation, right? Like a lot of guys I end up talking to with whatever particular struggles they're going through, they'd be like, oh, it'd just be so much easier if I just removed myself entirely, right? Like I'd go be a monk, I could go and like never, never
I'm gonna
have
just
alcohol
get rid of
anywhere
my
near me.
phone and the internet, so I don't have to deal with that. Like I'm going to only keep crackers in the house, so I have to fast.
And don't get me wrong, there is something to that where it's like if you're on one end of the extreme of like the cycle between vice and virtue,
Mm-hmm.
if you're on one end of the extreme, okay, maybe you need to swing all the way to the other end of the extreme before you can find the happy medium,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I do think that some people should throw out their phones for a season, right? Like go get a dumb phone, right? Like you're addicted to pornography, you're addicted to this, you're addicted to that, go get a dumb phone, right? Or like, yeah, you have a serious problem with food, right? Like maybe don't buy the snack foods at all. And the only way you're going to get groceries is by ordering it on an app. So that way you're not walking through the grocery store and then,
Picking and
ooh, this looks nice.
yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Like I remember hearing a story from a guy who was addicted to methamphetamines. So he eventually got over his addiction, went to rehab, all those kind of things. And he said the problem is that he knew the exact route he could take to work. If he took that route, he knew exactly what exit to get off of so he could get back to his drug dealer. So in order to circumvent that, he took a longer commute to work, which added an extra 20 minutes to his commute. But it's like, okay, right? Like Jesus says, like, how far and how willing to go, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
St. Paul, he writes in the letter to the Hebrews, he has said, "You have not yet resisted sin to the point of shedding blood."
It's pretty hard.
Jesus says, like, unless you're willing to pluck out your eye, cut off your hand, you're not worthy of the kingdom of heaven. And like in some ways, like Lent is penitential, right? We're doing penance for our sin, but it's also meant to be like this great season of just like, okay, Lord, there's a lot in my life that if I was to die today, I am not yet at the level of holiness that I should be at.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Thanks be to God, He has mercy on us. Um, but I do think for most of us, we should have a kind of fear that we are not living a life of holiness the way that God wants us to.
Well, that's it should be, yeah, it should be for everyone. Like that should be something that we recognize. Um,
Right? Like, I am not as holy as God wants me to be, and that should make me a little bit scared.
I was talking to my OCIC kids on Sunday. We were going through the Ten Commandments and confession. Those are the chapters we had to go on, and explaining to them what the Ten Commandments are. And first of all, enjoy trying to talk to a first grade about what "do not commit adultery" means. If you never sweat,
Don't hold hands with Susie if you were just holding hands with Tommy.
I was literally like, when someone's in a relationship, we want to respect that and encourage it. Like just trying to, but anyway, explain them like what a mortal sin was like seeing like the recognition in their eyes, like, oh, and I don't know how to what extent they got, but like the really like we have two kids who are like in first and third grade, so like you can see on their faces when they get something. And I was like, yeah, like when we commit a mortal sin, like a venial sin is like it's still bad, but it's not like going to completely separate us from God. But a mortal sin is us looking at God saying, I don't want you. You do all these great things for me, and I don't care. And they're like, but God loves us. I'm like, yeah, but sometimes we don't love God the way that we're supposed to. And like just that the recognition, like, oh, that's a big deal. I'm like,
Yeah.
if a kid can get it, why can't we? And I'm guilty of it too all the time.
Oh yeah.
But like
No.
if we put it in that context, well, Father Mike Schmitz had a great bit about it. He was like, like we're called to be in relationship with God, and
Mm-hmm.
every time we sin, it's the equivalent of us saying, "I'm cheating on you with X, Y, or Z." If you try to do it with your spouse, and like we say, like, "Oh well, God's gonna forgive me. It's just this one time." If you try that with your spouse, like, "Hey, just let you know, I cheated on you," that doesn't work. So why do we extend that to God, the one who is always loving us?
Yeah. And I think with this, like going back to the Lent thing, I think there's something about having a Lent that challenges you is so necessary. Right? Even if you do fail, even if it does become hard, right? Like being like, no, I've committed to this, I'm doing this, right? Like being able to embrace the suck, you know.
Don't ring
Um
the bell.
yeah, go ring the bell.
No, don't ring that bell.
Don't ring that bell.
Don't ring that bell.
But it's just okay, right? Like we live lives of such mediocrity today where it's like, oh yeah, I prayed today, I did my, like, ooh, one of the things that gets me is whenever students are like, they're like, yeah, my challenge this week was to pray every day. And I was like, my brother in Christ, that's not a challenge, that's the bare minimum. Like the minimum bar is 15 minutes of daily prayer. We're talking about like 1% of your day. Like 1% of your day is 14 minutes 59 seconds. And you can't even do that every day. That's a challenge for you. Break it up over 5 minutes.
For some
Do
for
one
some
minute
people
every
that is
16
a
hours of your life.
starting point. That is for some
Yeah,
people who have zero prayer life, who have no relationship. That is a challenge. That is a starting point for them. But for most of
right,
us,
right. But when I'm talking to students who are like going to Sunday Mass,
yeah,
understand the theology of the church, right? Like it's one thing if like I just met a kid and he's like, yeah, I'm thinking about becoming Catholic. I was like, oh, great. Like, number one is like, we need to talk about how you pray. Right. But when I'm talking to students who are like, yeah, I get like 3 minutes of prayer in every night. Dog, what are you doing?
It's so easy to break it up throughout the day, but
Right. Even if you did like 5 minutes of prayer at three different points, right? But, it's like you really start to think about it. And it's like 15 minutes of prayer is like a bare minimum. And especially like if we're working for the church, we're doing ministry, we're volunteering and things like that. 15 minutes is not even close to enough to what we probably should be doing to be good disciples.
mhm.
Right? Like 15 minutes is like what I do when I first wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, Jesus, I'm still groggy, but I know I need you. And so here we go.
Yeah, like
But it's like, I still,
Mira and I, our prayer together takes about 30 minutes, and we do that every day. But that's
yeah.
in the evening. But like that's a good, but like that's become a good staple for me. So I was because usually like when I like in the past for Lent, I try to do something and give up something. I try to do it like a bookend to it. But it used to be I'm going to do the daily readings, and that was a big deal for me. Like I'm going to take the time to read the daily readings and reflect on them. Well, I do that every day now. So it's like okay, now I have to challenge myself to grow more than just that
Mhm,
little bit.
mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
a and that's the other thing. Lent is for a lot of people. Lent is I'm gonna give up this thing. I'm gonna try like it's like a New Year's resolution for them. I'm gonna give up pop for 40 days. If they do it, great. If they don't, whatever. But are they changed by it? Like, are you get like are like what? Okay, well, why are you giving up pop? Well, it's not very healthy for me. I should really when and then when the 40 days are up, oh cool, I can drink pop again. No, no, it's it's supposed to affect change. Like Matthew gave up biting his fingernails for Lent one year because he knew it was a bad habit and it was something that he needed to stop doing and it wasn't good for him. And after that Lent, he never bit his fingernails again. Which I know is just like a small example, but I'm like that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to affect a change in us that brings us that either removes an obstacle that is getting in the way of our relationship with God, or is just actively bringing us closer and creating a habit that brings us closer.
Yeah. No, and it's so true. It's like, okay, right? Like, I mean, I used to do like, oh, I'm gonna give up alcohol for Lent. I'm gonna be honest. I maybe have one beer a month at this point in my life. Like, I don't feel like giving up alcohol would do anything for me.
Yeah, and it
I used to,
usually when like because I've tried that before too, it ends up being like, all right, I don't drink that much by myself, and then it becomes like like it becomes an awkward, not awkward, but like a you become that guy when you hang out with your like I hang out with a bunch of Catholic guys, and if I say, hey, I give up alcohol, they understand, but it's kind of like a okay, whatever. It's just kind of like a
yeah,
do you have something else?
I used to give up smoking for Lent. I probably haven't smoked in 3 or 4 months. Right? Like, it's like,
Yeah,
okay. I'm starting to, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, all right, Lord, like, what's the biggest obstacle right now for me to grow in holiness? Right? Like, what's the thing that's keeping me the most from you? And I genuinely think in some ways it's become like my attachment to um being satisfied.
okay, expand on that a little.
Um Food.
Okay,
I like food.
I do too.
Get over this. And it's just that whole thing of like I like to go like I get done with work, I'm like, "Oh, I want to go get a cheeseburger." You know, do this that or whatever. I didn't eat lunch today, so I'm going to go get something else. And it's like, "No, you have food at home." Right? Like being able to like I'm really bad at making small sacrifices.
Okay.
I could do big sacrifices. I'm really bad at doing small sacrifices.
Oh, so you're a
Where
guy.
it's like, yes,
I'm willing to die for the church. I don't like giving up meat on Fridays.
precisely. So I've actually been pretty good about that. I started incorporating that at the start of this year. I said, okay, I'm buckling down, like no meat on Fridays. I've started cooking like fish friendly foods. Like I've been cooking like a scallop and parsley farfalle, like pasta salad, which has been great.
Hmm.
Super filling, super low calorie, great. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I basically am like, all right, for this Lent, like I'm gonna do no meat, right? Like at all. Like I'll allow myself on Saturday and Sunday just because I have food in my freezer that if I don't eat it will go bad.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm like Monday through Friday, there will be no meat. And even on Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm like, no fish. Right. So basically I'm just buckling down, like,
Oh, I like that.
and because it's like, number one, I'm not like the biggest fish guy in the world either. Like, I recently tried to make baked tilapia, and the thing I hated about it was like,
The
yeah,
fish.
I cooked whole tilapia, and now I have all these little fin bones that I have to like, as I'm eating, I'm like, that one's poking me in my mouth.
Yeah. My mom used to make like she just get tilapia fillets, and there were never any pin bones in them. Like you get frozen
It's
ones.
fine. It's like very small, and like when you're paying attention, but it's like,
Yeah.
I
It's
wouldn't feed it to my child,
yeah.
but
It's more trouble than it's worth sometimes.
it's like that whole thing of like, okay, right, this is a small sacrifice. I can offer this up.
Hmm.
I think there was that, and then I think the other element was just like how much time I am spending on my phone when I'm bored. It's like even at work, and I'm like, okay, right, like realistically, what can I do about this? Like, I need my phone, right? Like, it's not like I can just go and get rid of my phone. Like, I need it for this, I need it for work, I need it for contacting my fiance, all these kind of things. And I'm like, okay, so how could I just make it ridiculously hard for me to access all the other things? And I'm like, oh, well, it's just very simple, right? Like, just right, like screen time you would think would work, but I know every way to bypass screen time known to man.
It's the classic. If I want to bad enough, I'll do it.
Right.
But
And
easy
so
way,
it's just very simple.
delete the
Right.
apps.
Like delete the apps, yeah, but then I can go and re-download the apps, right? This is the
Yeah.
dilemma. I have very little willpower, right? This is the problem. And so it's just like as simple as like, okay, like, yeah, I'm gonna delete the apps. And once I get to the office, my phone is going in my drawer.
Hmm.
It's not leaving the drawer unless I have an explicit purpose. Right? It's like it really is that simple. Like if I can figure out how to detach myself from my phone for the 8 to 10 hours I'm at work every day, okay, I can get a grasp on this, right?
Yeah. It's all about finding the proper starting point.
Right.
That's the other problem that a lot of people will do for Lent. Like, all right, I'm fasting for 40 days, no meat for 40 days, and I'm only having 2 meals a day. Well, then you hit. It's just like with the New Year's resolution in that regard. Like, if, you hit day 2, day 3, day 4 hits though, and that cheeseburger sounds really good, and then you break like and then you settle for well, I already broke. Like, no, find some. You want to find something that you can measure, something that you can like say like, yeah, I'm actually doing this properly. Something that is attainable. Something like, yeah, I can reasonably do this. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be challenging. You want to make it challenging, but something that you can like very easily recognize. Like, I am doing this. And the big thing is, if you fail, you can restart, and repeat.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's kind of my Lenten challenges for myself. I mean, there's other things like I want to get back in the habit of um praying. I used to pray all 15 mysteries of the rosary.
Hmm.
That was kind of fallen off. So I want to get back into the habit of okay, right? Like I already pray 5 decades. How can I fit the other 10 decades in?
Hmm.
You know, um, and then the other element is going to Stations of the Cross every Friday. That's the other big goal to aspire towards. And if I can't make it to stations, I will pray them by myself.
Nice. Yeah, for me, like doing the extra prayer like that, like I have to be at the stations because I lead them on Fridays. So I think there's like one Friday out of Lent that I'm not leading stations. Um, so for me, it's much more focused on what can I do to improve my individual prayer life, and also the other I'm trying to work on how can I improve my relationship with my wife more during this Lent. Like we've already been doing a great job with doing prayer every day. So one of the things that I've talked with her about doing is we spend a lot of time either we're just like in each other's presence or it's we're watching TV together, which are both they're both great as far as like we're getting like we consider that quality time. Like we both enjoyed that time, but it's all right. How can we be more intentional about doing things actively together?
Mhm.
Like this is gonna sound dumb, but like when we watch TV together, we sit on opposite sides of the couch. We both get comfy. We both not we're not near each other. So I'm like, hey, when we're doing stuff, can we try being closer together? Little thing like trying to do add little things like, hey, let's try to be more intentional about spending time together so we can become closer as a couple, physically, but also just like emotionally and spiritually. Because we're doing a great job on the spiritual part with the prayer every day. Let's try to do it in the other, you know, 8 hours we see each other throughout the day.
Thanks, man.
That's and then I'm still
Yes.
trying to figure out the I like I said, I always try to do something extra, but also try to give up something. And I really like I don't like giving up food for me because I'm trying to gain weight, but also it doesn't do anything for me. Like, oh, I gave up this, I substitute with this. Like it doesn't. I don't feel the growth that I'm supposed to feel when I give up food. So it's like, what can I give up otherwise?
The fat electrician.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare suggest that. But again, give like I'd have to give up Pepper Box, like because again
The NFL.
I just replace. Oh yeah, sure, I'll give up the NFL.
Give up on the Lions.
Never heresy.
Give up Tarkov.
You see, and that's the thing. I don't want to give up something that affects other people too.
I mean, yeah.
Like that's the one way that I hang out with. Like I have a couple people I play games with. Like that's the one way we hang out. I hang out with them for twice a week in the evening, and that's the game we play. So it's like I can give up Tarkov on the days I'm not playing. Like I can give up. All right, I'm not gonna play Tarkov by myself. I'm only gonna play it when on Wednesday and Friday when I'm with like when I'm doing it as a social event. But the more I also just don't like adding a bunch of caveats because I feel like I'm cheaping out. So I'm still working on it, but I'm trying to figure out like what's that thing I can give up that is going to propel me in a positive direction towards holiness.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that starts right, like with just analyzing, like, what are my deficiencies? Like, where am I deficient in my relationship with God? Right? And this is always like the fun part because I think during Lent you kind of start to realize it is like this idea of like, what do I actually put my time, money, and energy towards? Because those are the things that I worship. And right, like it would be great to say like, oh, God takes up a majority of my time, my energy, and my money. Um, but if he did, then I wouldn't have a place to live
Mm-hmm.
because I wouldn't have money. Um, and so it's like properly balancing. Okay, right, like I have to be able to pay to live and all those kind of things. So I have to work. So then it's like, okay, with what time I have left over for just my daily needs, right? Like how much of that is given over towards the Lord? You know, and is that more or less right? Like, and this is something I was even thinking about the other day at the gym. I was like, I probably spend an hour and a half at the gym every day, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
my prayer should be at least a minimum of that, if not more than. It's like the same thing. It's like, okay, right? Like if I'm serious about following Jesus, okay, then when I start to be like, okay, what is the thing outside of work I put the most time into? Does my relationship with Jesus also look like that?
And I think one thing that I've toyed with is I've started adding it in little bits, like, you know, in between sets at the gym, like I rest 60 to 90 seconds. That's a very easy time to to say a prayer. Like little things like that. Like, how can I integrate Jesus into my daily life more? Like literally like just integrate him more into my daily life. Because like you said, we can do big things. I can dedicate a half hour to adoration. Like that's not that difficult for me. It is because I'm bad at it, but like in theory, like that's not very difficult for me. But it's how am I adding him in the little moments so that he is permeating every point of my life throughout my day. Like, am I taking the time to add him in? Am I only get like, all right, I'm going to section off like this section of time. This time is just for Jesus, which is good to do. You want to section off, like dedicate specific time to him, but you also don't want it to be like Jesus is just going to be at this
That's the
point of my
only
day.
time I talk to Jesus.
Exactly. How can I break it up? I remember when we were at Franciscan, one of the guys was like, I just can't pray my rosary. I don't have time to do it. At first, I was like, first of all, I know that's a lie because I see you waffling all the time. But it wasn't Brendan. But I was like, okay, you're walking between classes. You got at least 10 minutes. Pray a decade in between your classes.
10 minutes is more than enough time to get like 3 decades in.
I know. I was lowball. I'm like, get a deck in it. You have 5. You're taking 5 classes at least. Between your 5 classes, pray 1 decade of the rosary. You will have your rosary by the end of the day. He's like, oh,
Right,
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, I do. I know you can.
It all comes back to that, like, do you want it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've broken this down with many students before, which is like how much time you actually have in a week. And to ask yourself how much of that time is just wasted time. Because when we actually break it down, we start to see that, like, oh, after sleeping and working, right, like, you're left with about 70 or so hours in a week. Right? So throw in, like, let's say you go to the gym for an hour every day, 60 or so hours. Let's say you got to eat, you know, takes you an hour to eat and you don't do anything else while eating. You just strictly eat.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it takes you from the time you start cooking to the time you actually finish your food, another hour. So now you're left with about 40 or so hours a week. And you can't find time out of the 40 hours left in a week to spend 20 minutes a day praying a rosary.
It's
And I know for a fact, college students don't spend 40 hours a week on schoolwork.
correct.
Right? I'm assuming 56 hours of sleep a week. I'm assuming 40 hours of work a week. Most college students probably spend about 20 hours a week on school, if that.
and less than that on sleeping.
And maybe 50 hours on sleep. Cut an hour off, if that.
At least. But yeah, it's do we want it and do we want to spend the time doing it? And a lot of times it is a question, it is like you said, it's a question of will.
Well, and it's also the question of, like, going back to the conversation about mortal sin. I am choosing to love something over loving God who loves me perfectly.
Not only am I loving something, like
Why would I do that?
I am actively rejecting God and choosing to put this in his place because I think this is more important.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that I think we forget, like, and it sounds bad, like we forget about that part, but it's sin is for mortal sin is an active choice that I'm saying I want this more than God, who loved me so much that he brought me into existence.
Yep.
It's like when, like, it's literally when you choose something, like, and this was again when I was explaining to the kids, like, it's when you say I would rather have this toy than have my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, sometimes your parents, I was like, and our parents are imperfect, obviously, but like, it's the person who loves you, clothes you, feeds you, gives you a house, and would do anything for you, and you said I pick this instead. Imagine if your siblings did that to you. Like, hey, I'm going to trade you away for X, Y, or Z. And we do that choice over and over. And then they bring you back and they say, actually, I'm going to pick the toy again. And then you come back again. I'm picking the toy again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But, all right. This was insightful. But some of us have meetings with people at 11:30 that we have to go finish making food for.
Fair enough. So, and I think we've already kind of gone our going deeper, what we're doing for Lent.
Yeah. So
yeah, we encourage you.
This has been great. I've been joined today by Andrew, the Kurt Locker Jones.
Where did Jones get added in?
Dr. Jones, Dr. Andrew Jones.
Don't know who that is.
From Franciscan.
If he wasn't in the business department, I didn't know him.
Miriam and I took many classes with Dr. Jones in our grad school program.
Congratulations. And I've been joined
by Andrew, the Kurt Locker Kurt.
I've been joined by Yosh, the fat theologian, soon to be the fit theologian.
Ooh.
Hey! I'm gonna continue giving you, I'm gonna be your male.
This into existence.
I'm gonna be your male cheerleader. Go Yosh, go! Don't forget to
only if you wear this. Only if you wear the skirt.
Don't tempt me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. What are you doing for Lent? Let us know in the comments. And
please watch.
Please watch.
Please give me motivation to do these.
we're slowly dying. Yeah, have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace and blessings.